ACA 5 is simply about equality. It's about taking a step in the right direction to bring us justice. And quite frankly, it's a very modest step. All this says, and I'll echo what my colleagues have said, is let the voters decide. This is not the same California that voted on this about 25 years ago, because I'll remind you about the California that voted about it 25 years ago. They passed propositions that attacked our language. They passed propositions that attacked immigrants. They passed propositions that attacked our opportunities. It's not the same California today. And all we're saying is, let the voters decide today. And although it's modest, it'll have an impact on generations to come. Because up until today, we've denied generations that opportunity. Look, when you think about opportunity, you have to think about how kids are raised. And I'll break it to a very, very simple story, which is my story. And it's not unique. Most of us here who are of color or women have benefited from affirmative action. Many of you share similar stories. If your parents came here from a different country and they worked extremely hard, it wasn't my choice to be born poor. It wasn't my choice to be born and not understand a language. It wasn't my choice to live in Section 8 housing. It wasn't my choice to work full-time while I was in college. So did I get the best grades, and did I get a 4.3, and did I slam dunk it into UCLA right after high school? Of course not. Did it take me a long time, like it took others, to get through community college? Of course. Probably longer than it should. 5, 6 years, something like that. But this is the reality when you have to work and you have to help your parents make rent. No one chooses that. So this whole idea, and I'm not saying anyone has said it, but this whole idea at the time that certain kids weren't qualified, that everybody should be equal, and that race shouldn't matter, well, it does. Because the zip code that you were born in determines where you're going to go. And it's not coincidence that the zip code you were born in oftentimes reflects what you look like. That's not a secret. If you grew up in the neighborhoods that I represent, more than likely, you'll be Latino. If you grew up in certain areas in South LA, more than likely, you're going to be African American. And we're going to have a harder time getting there. Some of you I've had this conversation with, but I've never really shared publicly. You know, when I went to community college, yeah, I struggled. And I saw 187, and we saw one proposition, and it was disheartening to know that no matter how hard I tried, I just didn't have the time to study. I didn't have the time to be politically active. I couldn't do those things. And when I applied to UCLA, my one dream, and I used to say when I was a kid, my one way to get out of the hood was to get an education. But I was denied. I was denied because I didn't have the grades. And I was heartbroken. It almost destroyed my life to think that the one opportunity that I could have to help my parents get out of Section 8 housing and give my little brother an opportunity was denied because instead of studying, I had to go to work. And instead of recreational summer and vacations, we picked up extra jobs. So I appealed. And that is exactly the case that I made to UCLA. Was, hey, look, I would have loved to go home and study, and I probably would have got a 4.3, but I couldn't.
30 seconds.
And because of affirmative action, and because consideration of where I came from, what I looked like and the language that I spoke, I got in. And I was able to graduate magna cum laude. And it was never about qualifications, and it was never about the ability. But it gave me an opportunity like it gave many of us. And that's the opportunity that we're going to give generations of people of color, women, and we're going to change the state. It will have a dramatic impact on who goes to these institutions of higher learning and who has a say when they when they become doctors, attorneys, legislators, because we got an opportunity, and we will not waste that opportunity, I can guarantee you, because we knew how hard it was to get here, and we will do all we can to make it easier and provide more opportunities for future generations. And to all our allies who are supporting this today, God bless you for doing it and taking a stand for each and every single one of our communities who couldn't be here today. Thank you.